Here we have a request for the home page, and in response, we're loading the Laravel welcome screen. Let's figure out exactly how that works. I'm going to visit the routes web file, and this is where you'll register all routes for your application. And notice how easy it is. Think of it like this. When the user makes a GET request to the home page, in response, we are loading a view. And you learned a bit about views in the first episode. A view is very much the HTML portion of your code base. So in this case, we want a view called welcome. And as it turns out, views are stored in the resources directory. Resources, views, welcome. There it is. So notice we have a big block of HTML here, some CSS, and all of those links that you would see when we load the page. Let's update it from Laravel to Laracas. So I will update that to Laracas. I'll save it, and if I switch back and give it a refresh, there we go. But let's change the endpoint for fun. I'll go back to my routes file, and I'm going to duplicate this and register a new one. This time, if the user visits welcome, then in response, we'll do the exact same thing. Okay. So now, if we visit any URI that has not yet been registered, of course, we get a 404. But this time, let's do welcome. And there we go. So now we've effectively said when the user visits welcome in the browser, in response, I want to load this welcome view. And that's exactly what we have here. Now, as it turns out, there's a number of ways we can return a response. Laravel's pretty smart in that way. So for example, I could return a simple string here, and Laravel will automatically prepare that as a response. So now, if we switch back to the home page, reload, we do get our string. We can even return JSON. So for example, if I returned an array here, once again, Laravel will automatically convert that to JSON. Now, a quick note, I'm using Firefox here that has a number of helpers. If you're using Chrome or Safari, you might instead see something like this, but it's all the same response. Anyways, if we look at the headers, sure enough, we've returned a content type of application/JSON. And this will become incredibly useful when you start building APIs down the line. So let's finish up by registering a new route and also a new view. All right, route, when the user makes a GET request to, we'll call it test. And by the way, often I'll do a / here, but it's entirely optional. Anyhow, in response, we'll load a closure here where we return a view, and we'll call it test. Now, if I switch back and we visit our website/test, we'll get an exception. Well, let's see. I go to the views directory. No, we don't have one. So I will create that now. A new file called test, and we can do test.php or traditionally test.blade.php. Blade is a templating engine for Laravel that you'll learn more about in the future. All right, so for now, once again, I'm going to paste in a big block of HTML. And we'll say right here, test complete. All right, so let's go over it one last time. When the user makes a GET request, and for now, if you're not familiar with GET versus POST versus patch, just think of it as loading it in a browser. If we load this endpoint in the browser, in response, I want to load a view called test, and all views are in the resources views directory. And here it is. So if we give this a reload, there we go.